I'm back.
You got it. Tech 9, let's go.
KCMO, roll.
I'm representing
KCMO, roll.
Yeah.
You're muted, Chris. Gaiskar, you're muted too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Damn it. I hit that. And yeah, anyways. Hey, I'm Chris Knight, and you're watching Chaos Central's The Rule of Three, also over on The Real Review 3000. I appreciate you guys all being here. Let's see who we have in the chat real quick. I see Dandelion Fluff's there. I see you're in there, Gaiskar, but you don't count because you're here, so that's just how it goes. F30 AMN, thank you very much for being here. Hope to see a lot more people here. Let's just talk really quick, guys. Yeah, I know. Off to a good start. Chris is muted. Thank you there, Allie. I appreciate it. All right. So guys, it's really simple. This is how this works. We got 3 topics we'll get from the wheel of topics. We get 3 minutes each to talk about those 3 topics, and then 3 minutes to talk together about if we agree or disagree or whatever. But one of the topics I was going to put on there today, which I normally don't like on my channel or on Chaos Central to get too political, but being from the United States and honest to God, being as ashamed as I am of what happened in our capital today, I thought I'd bring it up with 2 Canadians, lucky you guys. Yeah, I know, Allie, keep me that. Hey, Spartacus, how you doing? I want to talk to you guys because you're from out of the country, not too far. I mean, you guys, Canada, you guys are our brothers and our neighbors. But what do you guys think of this? I mean, when you see something like this on CNN, Fox News, whatever you're watching, what do you guys think when you see what happened today in Washington, D.C.?
Gaiskar, go ahead first.
Okay, well, I see that a country is divided, man, and it's fearful because what it demonstrated today is how weak security is and how domestic terrorism is right now. And it's also kind of sad because I know in the United States, military and power is something that, it's like flexing a muscle, right? And it's like, what are you demonstrating in the world right now? That you're a country divided, open for terrorist attacks, and it's scary. I have family that live there, family friends that live there, and it is a scary sight. It is a scary thing to see, and the fact that you have a president on board that is actually promoting this should be taken out of office, and that's just my brief overview of it. Right? That's what I think. It's a scary thing.
It is.
For me,
Nzo.
This shit has me heated. I don't even live in the States, and it has me heated. And I'll tell you why. And we're going to get into the OCC tonight, so if you guys can check it out. But just briefly, just look at this and then look at what happened when we were protesting when George Floyd got shot, or when, some black person, Jacob, I can't remember his last name, I'll find it out for the show, but when they got shot and we were protesting, look at the way they treated us compared to the way they are treating these people. And I don't care what anybody wants to say. They are fucking racist, walking through the Congress with a Confederate flag. Okay? So we cannot deny the fact that there are a bunch of racists sitting out there doing this. And Donald Trump is still tweeting up until today. You know, I said it before on my post, and I'll say it now. Trump said, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Where is that energy now?
But this is in support of him. And I'm going to make it very clear here that the Real Review 3000, my channel, I'm not sure about you guys, and I will not speak for you, but I'll also speak for Chaos Central, because I guess, you know, kind of the guy that started this thing. I don't get political. I will tell you right now, I have no problem if you voted for Trump. That is your choice. That is your obligated duty as an American citizen, is to vote and vote for the person you believe is right for the job. I would severely say that you need to question whether or not you made the right choice, even though it doesn't matter, because I don't believe that there was voter fraud. If you do, that is also your God-given right. I am not going to tell you that you cannot say that. But I am going to say that if you condone what happened today, if you voted for him, if you didn't vote for him, if you believe there was voter fraud, if you didn't believe there was voter fraud, I don't care. If you condone what is happening today in Washington right now, then you are condoning everything that this country has stood against for over 200 years now. And we have come a long ways from having slaves in fields to being sent here or by coming here and taking over lands from Native Americans and doing all sorts of other things. We've come a long way. This does not speak for America. And if you're condoning this, then you need to really think about your priorities. I believe in peaceful protest. I have seen that I know that some Black Lives Matter protests have gotten out of hand. But at the same time, this is out of hand. Yet, what's strange is the way that the Black Lives Matter protests were handled and faced when things were get out of hand was so much more exponentially than this was. And I understand why the Capitol Police backed away, because they figured it was safer to get the people out that were in the Capitol and to take care of the things that really mattered than to try to stop people who they knew they were not going to be able to stop. I understand why they backed away, but why was the National Guard not there then? Why were all the police, the Metropolitan Police in Washington, D.C., why were they not there then?
I watched a news report.
Protesters. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say on to what you were saying. I watched a news reporter, and she said she had seen like National Guards come into a situation within 10, 20 minutes of it starting to get out of hand. This went on for hours.
But protests need to be handled the same no matter who's protesting. If you're going to have military and heavily armed police or whoever for Black Lives Matter, you got to have it for this. These people were incited by our own president. They were told to march on the Capitol. If you support that, then you don't support what America stands for.
And like we said earlier,
I don't know how to put it any other way.
That's an act of terrorism.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And again, I don't like to get political because I believe that everybody has the fundamental right to believe what they believe, vote for who they want to vote for.
Absolutely.
But this is so much more than that. And it's all over the fact that you guys didn't like the way that the election turned out, and that's fine too. But your guy could have done what every other president who has been voted out of office before second term has done, which is graciously invite the next president into the White House, show them around, even though Biden's been there, graciously help their people get up to date with current events and defense strategies or whatever else is going on. And then 4 years from now, gather the supporters that he obviously has and try again. It's not something he couldn't do. But
Absolutely.
no, he can't admit to losing.
Right.
So he comes up with fake claims of voter fraud, which again, folks, I will point blank put it out there for you. If this was voter fraud, it is hundreds, if not thousands of times more voter fraud than has ever been found in the United States in the history of the United States. If that's the case, then everybody was in on it. And not just everybody, but the people who are objecting, who were going to object. If they do now, I don't know what that says about them, but the people who were going to object, they knew they were going to object. They knew they weren't going to toe the line, so they don't know about the plan. So think about how this person, that person can't know, but everybody else has to know. That's how this works. That's the only way that much voter fraud would have happened. And there's no way that happens.
I agree.
Politicians don't just fall in line like that.
I agree.
And so it just boggles the mind why, as an American, you would condone this. Why are there not people right now who are true patriots not going to Washington to stand next to police officers? These are the people that are complaining that Black Lives Matter. And yes, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Anybody who says defund the police, the people who say defund police, this is just as bad. These people were 6 months ago on the side of the police for fighting Black Lives Matter. But now that it's them, they don't give a crap about these police officers.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Where does that make sense?
And that's what that shows the point of how divided the country is.
I am just appalled at this. And I can only imagine what Canada, what Great Britain, Germany, Spain, France, our allies. And then what about the ones who may be allies in a sense? China, Russia, these other places. What does this say to them?
That America
good reality
is
TV.
fucked up. And, if they want to get an army together and rush the Capitol, you know what I mean?
I hope that's true, Sean. I really do. I honestly hope that's true.
Me too.
I've always said that I don't think that the president should have their own Twitter account. I think that the POTUS Twitter account that normally is handled by some lackey, which I'm sorry, that's what you are if you handle the POTUS account. I always felt that that's fine. It gets across a basic point. Hey, the president's going to be doing this today, or the president's going to sign this bill, or he's not going to sign this bill. I don't see why this guy needs his own Twitter account. I don't see why he needs to be on Twitter constantly. This is a 14-year-old girl isn't on Twitter as much as this guy is.
For real. For real.
A 14-year-old girl acts more adult than he does on Twitter. And then I go back to the fact of things like Melania Trump, who wanted to make her thing as first lady be to stop bullying. Then you should have gone in, grabbed your husband by his ear, dragged him out on the White House lawn, and in front of a press conference said, I'm going to start right here.
For real. For real.
Imagine that's the point.
That's exactly what he done. If you listen to that phone call, he is bullying them to try and change the election.
Okay.
He's like a little kid, right?
Mm.
That doesn't get what he wants.
If you guys want more, check out the OCC at 10. We will be discussing this. It'll be me, Gaiskar, Bendizo, and Josh will be on there. Chris, if you want to come in for a bit, you're welcome.
I might have to.
Is welcome because
gotta get it off your chest, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Poe, I see you in there. Thank you very much, Poe, for being here. F30AMN, thank you. Spartacus, thank you. Sean, thank you for being here. Dandelion Fluff, of course, thank you for being here. Caleb, thank you for being here. And I think that's everybody I see in the chat right now. But guys, make sure you go to my Twitter at ChrisKnight5150. It's right here. And my pinned tweet, I believe, is, if I get to my Twitter, yeah, my pinned tweet is tonight's stream. Go ahead and tweet that out for me. Share it. Put it on Instagram if you're not a Twitter person, because of somebody like our wonderful president who just blows. I don't even follow the guy, and I constantly get berated with crap by him. It's like, what the?
Neither do I. I don't follow him either.
Okay. Well, with that said, guys, 3 topics, 3 minutes, and we got that. Well, let's get right to it.
There was no music, no sound. What?
Oh, what's up with that?
I kind of figured this. I kind of figured this was going to come up. It just seemed like what was going to happen.
That's going to be all you on, so I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really.
Well, you've seen.
I've seen it. Yeah. I saw the first 2 seasons. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to move this over here because I gotta turn this down. I think that was a little bit loud. All right. So after season 3 of Cobra Kai, are you more excited for season 4? Now, I haven't seen any of them. I know, kill me, hang me.
What?
But I have objectively found bits and pieces of it. I don't know everything that's happened, but I have a pretty good idea of things that have happened. So I do have an opinion on this.
All right,
but
I'll go first.
All right, so let me get the wonderful 3-minute timer up. 3 minutes is on the board. Anzo, you go now.
Absolutely am I so excited for season 4. Oh my God, season 3 was fire. I binge watched it the first day it came out, and I was like, okay. No, first I was looking at for midnight, right? I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh yeah, Cobra Kai. Midnight. I was like, shit, it's not here. So it came out around maybe 3. I didn't watch it, but as soon as I woke up in the morning, I popped on the first episode and I watched it from start to finish. I love Cobra Kai. And I'm sad that I was late to the party because I knew it was on YouTube. You know what I mean? I seen it there, Cobra Kai, this, Cobra Kai, that. And I was like, meh, not really interested. 1, I didn't want to pay for premium, and then 2, I was like, yeah, Cobra Kai, I know, Karate Kid, blah blah blah. Because growing up, I liked the Karate Kid, but I can't say I was like a huge fan of the Karate Kid, you know. So, a friend was like, "Yo, have you checked out Cobra Kai yet?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "Check it out." Then it came on Netflix. So when it came on Netflix, I said, "You know what? I got Netflix. Let me start watching it." And season 1 was fire. The end of season 2 was like, oh my God, what is gonna happen? And then when season 3 came out, I was like, yes, the writing, the acting, the characters, everything in that show is really good. The only thing I can say is that the fighting is a little bit weak. You know what I mean? But again, at the same time, it's a Netflix show. I get it. You know what I mean? They're not real fighters in real life. But at the end of the day, man, it keeps you entertained. It keeps you wanting more. It keeps you wanting to know what happens to Miguel, what happens to Johnny. You know what I mean? When they brought back Cleese, the bad guy. Yeah. Kreese, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think he's one of my favorite characters in this show, you know, because I just love to hate him. I'm like, man, this guy is a prick. So I am absolutely excited for season 3. I'm upset that I think we have to wait, what'd you say, like till next year to see it or whatever, you know. And this is what I was going to say, because I've always had the you know, oh, I want them to bring everything out at one time so I could binge watch it. And then there's the Mandalorian side where they do it once a week. But after you binge watch it all the time, it's like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm kind of getting to the fact where the weekly episodes is not really bothering me much anymore. You know, I definitely like to see the show from start to finish, but at the end of the day, all I can say is, man, Cobra Kai is what they're doing to that show or that series is amazing. I hope they keep up the good work. And yes, Ninja Hawk did kick ass. So no spoilers, but man, this show is fire.
Gaiskar, go ahead. 3 minutes.
I can only talk about the beginning. The first thing, like Anzo, I saw that it was on Prime. I didn't have Prime at that time, so I didn't watch it. But when it came out on Netflix, like I binge watched all of season 1, and season 2 I watched, not binged, but I watched it like 3 or 4 episodes at a time, and it was great. The way they're bringing in the backstory of I forgot the bad guy's name there.
Kreese?
Not Kreese. The other the fuck. I have a block.
Johnny.
Johnny. Yes.
Oh, Johnny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The way they're bringing back Johnny, right, and his backstory, like what got him to that point. It's really cool how they did that, and how you see his upbringing and how that affected him. You know, the lack of father figure and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But like Anzo said, the ending of season 2, you know, when that fight in the high school, it was crazy. It was insane, man. And how it ended, spoiler alert, it was basically, you know, he tested Elizabeth's shoe, right? Mm-hmm. And just went for it and just sent her a message. But at the end, he gets so pissed that he throws his phone out when he's on the beach. And when he walks away, she actually responds to him. So you leaves you like, oh shit, is she coming back? She's not coming back. Because there was a whole thing about her, if she was going to come back to the show, if she's not, you know, because, you know, she was doing The Boys at the time as well, right? So there was all this thing going on and this suspense. So it was great to know that, you know, obviously she comes back because y'all saw the teasers and stuff like that. They're on the net and she comes back. So I'm just curious to see how that works out. And he has such bad luck with women, right? He finally hooks up with, you know, with the kid's mom. Everything was going sweet, and fuck the whole thing when she loses her cool. But it's a great show. I love the way they did it, and it's fire. I'm just gonna I'm off work for the next 4 days, so that's what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm just gonna binge watch in my pajamas, man.
Yes,
for sure.
Binge watch it because
for sure. No, I am. That's what I'm doing.
I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna watch that series again. It's really good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, 30.
Oh, and just so you know, there's more backstory without spoiling it for anybody, but there's more backstory for a certain character in season 3. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I heard, right? Something about Japan, right? You're talking about
that too, and something else. Yeah.
Oh, there's more shit. Okay. Start watching.
How many episodes a season is it?
10.
10? I'm probably just going to buckle down.
30-minute episodes, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, they're only 30 minutes.
Was the? Oh, yeah, it's true that they were fast. That's right. That's right. They were fast.
But I don't have an issue with that, with something like this. Okay. I will say that what I've always said about this show, I was skeptical at first when I heard people talking about it and when I looked into it and stuff, because I didn't know how I'd like the thought that perhaps Johnny wasn't the dick he was. Because for years there was this video out there that tried to say, well, Johnny wasn't the bad guy in the movie. It was actually Daniel the whole time because, well, Daniel came and was kind of macking on his girl, and all he was doing is trying to protect her or to, he was trying to, I guess, keep what was his, and that Daniel, in a sense, was the aggressor and all that. I don't necessarily still agree with that, but I do like what I have seen that Daniel isn't necessarily a bad guy in this, but he is a little cocky and thinks that he's still the shit because his life turned out better. What's funny is that he's forgetting about where his life started. So they flip-flopped in who they are, in a sense. I do like the fact that I think as of yet, and again, I don't know, you don't have to tell me, you can, doesn't matter. As of yet, I don't think they've had a full-fledged one-on-one fight with each other. I think I've heard that they've still kind of stayed away from that. They've had scuffles.
They've had scuffles.
Yeah. I like that too. It's a great buildup. And then the kids in their different dojos, their different teachers, the different kids they teach, the fact that that's where the fights come from it's like their inner feelings towards each other are being played out by their own students. I love that thought. And then I know Kreese came in last year, I believe, right? Last season. Yeah. I really do need to watch this show because the more I look at it, I'm like, if there was one way to revive a property, an IP, I think they have found the perfect way of doing it. I don't know how it ended up. Is it on Netflix this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was on YouTube the first 2 or 3 seasons?
First 2 seasons.
Yeah.
First 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I don't know how YouTube walked into that, but it was brilliant. Everything I've seen just tells me this is like one of the best continuations of something that in its own right isn't really a continuation. It's got bits and pieces of the movies that you that helps to know, but it adds everything you learn from this, I guess, adds to what you know about the movies. And yet it's also playing out a whole new thing. And I love that thought process. So yeah, I need to get with the program and watch them. I know this. I have said it for 4 seasons now.
And I'm sure, and I'm sure that YouTube is kicking themselves in the ass right now, seeing the viewership it's getting. Right?
I don't know. Did they sell because it wasn't getting the viewers, or what was it?
I don't know why YouTube sold it, to be honest with you. But whatever, Netflix, I mean, that was number 1 in the world, like when it came out. You know what I mean? So it's just gonna keep picking up. It's gonna keep picking up steam. And like you said, Chris, what they are doing with the adults and then the kids too is absolutely amazing, man. They're tying everything in so perfectly. Like it is basically one of the best continuations of a movie story, like that I can at least think of.
Oh, I haven't, like I said, I haven't seen it. And I can tell you that because I mean, I love The Mandalorian and I think it does a lot of things right. And I think that a lot of the stuff that they're talking about doing in the Star Wars properties is going to be done right. But this is literally like you were to say, I mean, okay, I Karate Kid 3 was nah, and then the next Karate Kid was nah. But to focus on what the Karate Kid was in the first movie, because that's really what the Karate Kid was like. I really do like Karate Kid 2, but it's more about what was going on in Karate Kid 1. I think it was genius. It could have, I mean, this is almost how I feel about Rogue One. Like after you see the fight on the ship with Darth Vader, I want to watch A New Hope.
Yeah.
I want to watch these together because I think that they meld together so well. You're back at their high school. You're back in the same areas. You know that I think I heard that there's a scene where they actually show the golf park that they had the date at. And I mean that place still exists. I know I used to go there and sometimes I still do whenever I go out that way. But it's just amazing. This is a brilliant move, and of all the things you could say about reboots and remakes, this is one of those examples. You say that is how you do it. You honor what was, but you add to it. If you don't know about the old movie, the movies, if you've never watched the movies, you can still watch this show. Absolutely. Because what's going on with the kids is a completely different story.
Absolutely. Which ties in just a little bit to the movies, right?
Yeah.
You see little things from the movie which explains things. So you don't need to go back and watch the whole movies to understand what's going on in this series. And that's amazing.
Yeah, because they do it well with the flashbacks, little scenes of the flashbacks and stuff like that.
Who's Johnny's friend, the guy that died 2 seasons ago? The one that says get a body bag or whatever in the movie, I think is the guy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, it sucks that he died, but I love the fact that they built all of these people back into this. And you know why that happens, folks? If you've got a good property, if you've got a good product, the people who were associated with that product originally will want to be a part of what you have. And that's how you know. That's why I have hope for Star Wars. When Mark Hamill came back, it says something, because he was not on board, and somebody pulled him back. So he had to have seen something that said, okay, maybe there's a chance that we can fix something.
Yep. Dave Favreau and Filoni must have talked to Mark Hamill, and said, listen, we are going to make it right. Because, and don't quote me on this, but I am 100% sure that on Drunk Stream with Gina Carano, she said that those guys do not like The Last Jedi.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
But I don't care what, and nothing against Gina. Gina, I love you to death. But Gina, if you ever were to say that they're not going to retcon it, people, I know I've heard tons of people say, I know, but I think people think that they're going to get rid of that. And I don't think they are. I don't think they're going to split the timeline. I just think that they're trying to make whatever they can make happen.
Right.
It work. Yeah. But
because I don't think they're doing it either. And I'm not saying that, but at the end of the day, that's how they got Mark Hamill back, by telling him, listen, we didn't like what they did to you, so we're going to show you in a different light, come back. And Mark Hamill's loved playing Luke Skywalker. So
that is the part. As far as movies go, that is the part that everybody knows him for, except for what's his name in Jane Silent Bob Strikes Back. I love that character. The superhero he plays in that.
I don't.
I can't remember, but it's funny as hell. It's so fun. But if you know comic cartoons, he's Joker, which amazing. I honestly think that he could probably play the Joker at some point in time. Hell, if you make the Flashpoint movie, call him up, have him be the Joker in one of the alternate universes, folks. Right? You will get some fan play for that.
There's already too many alternate universes. They don't.
Yeah, but they're gonna do it anyways. So why not just get them on board? Okay, let's spin and see what topic number 2 is.
Let's do it.
Does Venom 2 need a cameo appearance from Spider-Man? I think that's what you meant, Gaiskar, pretty much, right? Okay.
Yeah. Or even
because I
include him at all.
Yeah, well, that's true. I think part of the Disney Sony deal kind of stated that it was going to include a Spider-Man cameo, the Marvel MCU Spider-Man cameo in a Sony movie. A lot of people have speculated that's going to be Venom 2. That's just to give you some background. 3 minutes on the board. Gaiskar, since you went second last time, how about you start this one? Oh. So let's go up here, and your time starts now.
So many people enjoyed the first Venom, but didn't feel it was the real Venom from the comic books and what we've seen in the Spider-Man movies in the past, right? And because, the Venom we got in Spider-Man 3 was very weak, right? This one, you saw the gore, you saw the size, you saw the fangs, but no spider symbol whatsoever on the Venom, right? So I honestly believe if they want to save this Venom, they have to, without a doubt, bring Spider-Man into the fold. Because if anything, to relaunch people to want to watch this movie and get all the fan base from the books into this, Cassidy's in there, or Total Carnage, right? Absolute Carnage. That's the title. It's gonna be Absolute Carnage. Spider-Man has to be in this movie. Now, if it's going to be the MCU Spider-Man, which, like Chris said, they had agreed with a deal with Sony that they're going to be able to cross-reference the Spider-Mans or cross-use the Spider-Mans. The fact that the animation Into the Spider-Verse did so well and opens up this whole Spider-Verse, is this movie going to be the one that's going to, allow this to happen and jump off Spider-Man 3 that's going to be coming out, right? Which is going to have, there's already rumors that they're going to have Tom Holland, they're going to have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and as well as, what's the other guy's name?
Andrew Garfield.
Holland.
Garfield.
Garfield, yeah.
Exactly. So apparently what's briefly spoken about, they're really interested in reprising those roles. Would it be awesome? I think that's going to kick ass if they do that. And it's just Spider-Man and Venom are one. That's the origin story, is that there was no Venom without Spider-Man. And the fact that, they made this movie without the Spider-Man, that's the problem I had trouble with, because it doesn't work. And that's why it was enjoyable, but for me, it still didn't work, right? Because there's no Spider-Man. And they should have done it right. They should have taken their time. They knew that Marvel was working with their Spider-Man. They should have just saved it, done the Secret Wars, gave him the symbiote like it was supposed to, like in the books, and introduced Venom that way, like, the new relaunch, right? Instead of the way they did it. But I think that Spider-Man is definitely needed in order to turn this around.
Okay. Nzo, 3 minutes. Time starts now.
Gaiskar, my Canadian brother, I definitely have to disagree with you on this one. I don't think Spider-Man is needed in Venom 2, but at some point, yes, he's gonna be needed into the franchise. I just don't think it has to be number 2, right? Because number 2, he's gonna be fighting Carnage, which I'm down for. Venom, Carnage, whatever, and then you can bring Spider-Man into that with season 3. Now, what I think is gonna happen is Doctor Strange is gonna open up the multiverse. So we are going to get the 3 different Spider-Mans. Spider-Man has actually, if I'm not mistaken, one more movie after the multiverse movie, and then he goes back to Sony. When he goes back to Sony, that is when I think they will bring him into the Venomverse, right? So unless they make another deal, which is definitely a possibility as well. But at the end of the day, Sony's like, listen, our Spider-Man movies have made money without Marvel, so we can take him back. You know what I mean? Venom made money. I don't think it was a shitload of money, but it made money. It was profitable. So Venom was profitable. You bring Tom Holland's Spider-Man into that universe, have them go up against each other. I definitely think that would definitely work. So that's what I think they're going to do. I think Marvel is going to milk what they can get from Spider-Man, and then they're going to give him back to Sony. Because to be honest with you, as good as he is in the Marvel universe, he doesn't really need to be there. You know what I mean? So if they have to write him out, they will. I believe that's kind of why they made the final deal, was so that they could write him out. Because when they left Spider-Man Far From Home, they left it with a cliffhanger that they had to finish that cliffhanger. You know what I mean? Like, if they didn't do that, if they didn't make a deal for Spider-Man, then we have no idea what happened with the J. Jonah Jameson in there and him being revealed. So at least I feel with them at least getting the movie, 1 movie or 2 movie deal that they got with him now, they can at least finish off that arc, and then they can allow Sony to go back and do what they want to do with him. But at the end of the day, right, maybe they make a deal with Sony where we can have a Spider-Man in the MCU and they can have a Spider-Man in their universe. And that's possible. If DC is doing it, then Marvel can do it, and people will kind of understand that the universes are different with Marvel.
Mhm.
It's not as jumbled as the DCEU universes, right? You know what I mean? So I believe that they can actually still have both Spider-Mans, and people will understand that they're different. So
I will say this about what you just said about the DCEU and the MCU and their multiverse. The MCU has built up slowly to larger projects and made it very clear the direction they were going. Now, there's going to be some questions about 4 until it starts. Once it starts, if it makes sense, then I think they're in a good place. But you're absolutely right. The multiverse makes sense for MCU, not so much for DCU or DCEU. Okay, so I'm not sure, Gaiskar, did you not like Venom?
I didn't blow me off the park. I mean, my kids loved it. My wife enjoyed it because she likes, Tom Hardy. Anyways, yeah, it was. I just find it okay. I'm a hardcore Spider-Man fan, right? That was my comic book, superhero. And for me, it just not having him in the mix with making Venom, having Venom exist. I just, just one of those.
All
things.
right,
it's fair.
Let me set the record straight here. First off, Disney pulled the plug on the cameo that Spider-Man was about to shoot for Venom. That was going to happen. That's why in the agreement that they made after the fact, they did insist that there's going to be at least one cameo appearance in a Sony Spider-Verse movie. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to set the record straight for you, Nzo. Sony, while they may still own Spider-Man, I think is done doing Spider-Man by themselves because they're going to make more money working with Disney and making their Spider-Verse with Madam Web and all this other stuff they've talked about with Morbius and all that. I think they're going to start bringing in Disney on more of these projects to tie it to the MCU because once they sell in the next year or two, and there's still some question that might happen next year.
Hold on, Chris. There's some static going on. Okay, you're good now.
Yeah, well, I had to mute because kid upstairs with water.
Okay.
Yeah, I will get close. I'll turn this up a little bit, but that's probably not going to help.
No,
I'll go back, make sure I start the time again here. They're going to be selling here within probably 2021. And when that happens, MCU gets the property. I think they think that it's best to start integrating everything now because at least if they can get these movies made quicker with Disney helping out in some way, they're going to make money for their shareholders now, not later. So I think that while, yes, it may end up going back to Sony, I don't think Sony is going to ever make another movie that involves Spider-Man without Disney again. I just don't think after the $1 billion movie they got that, and especially I think they're getting 75-25 split. I think that they see that as a win-win on their part. But I could be wrong. But most of the things I've heard state that it's only a matter of time now before Disney gets the property. Now, I have heard that Venom 2 is what they're going to get the Spider-Man cameo in. I think it is important to introduce him to it, but not in a great capacity yet. You will have a good villain in this movie, like Nzo said. You don't need Spider-Man in it for long. You could have Spider-Man get involved in some way, so we know that he is in this universe, that this is the same storyline still going on. But I don't want him in for a lot. He doesn't need to be a focal point in this. But to start opening up that Spider-Verse that they're talking about opening up in Multiverse of Madness, it would be very good to start incorporating some of these movies and making references to each other. Because even if Disney doesn't stay on board, they still then, if they decide to go and do Spider-Man stuff on their own, they're going to need to start incorporating him into these things then. So I think he needs to be there a little bit, but not much. So let's talk about it.
Do you really think that they're not gonna? Because I mean, even if they take Spider-Man back and start making their own movies, they all made money.
They did. I'm not saying that they won't. I just know Sony is that hot 18-year-old girl that just got out of high school that knows she's got it, and she's just trying to find the right thing that she can ride it and get the meal ticket. I mean, they're looking to sell. They want to be sold. They've talked to Apple. They've talked to oh God, who else? I'd have to look it up, but Apple was the big one I think that was talking about doing it. Wherever
Sony in like all of Sony?
No, just the movies, the movie studio, because that's what Sony's trying to get rid of. Because the movie studio is a drag on their publishing and their music. Those are the two big things, and of course their electronics division. Those are the things that Sony really wants to focus on. So Sony's okay with having Disney put all the money in to make Spider-Man, and them just say, "Here you go. You can use this property, but our payment is this much money." Disney's the one that's actually taking more of the risk because they have to pay the money to make the movies, and anytime they use their Spider-Man, they're the ones doing the computer graphics for it and stuff. So Sony's not having to spend a ton of money for these things, but they get money from it. So it just makes sense that to ride it as long as they can. Now, yeah, they're going to renegotiate because it's going to probably, if they don't sell, they're going to get to the point where after the third one, it's over and they have to renegotiate. I think they will. It's beneficial to both of them, but I do believe that Spider-Man needs to be in Venom 2 to some extent, but I am with you, Nzo. I don't think he needs to be there much, because too much, then we're getting into that Spider-Man 3, the old Spider-Man 3 thing where we got too many things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, if you get a little cameo, I can understand that. And I kind of agree with you on your saying Sony's trying to incorporate, because what's his name? Vulture is in Morbius, right? So we're gonna find out how that kind of connects, and right then and there he's playing the same character, so it connects. Marvel has already came out and said that every Spider-Man movie is a part of the MCU. So
I think they're getting ready to. I think Sony is
everything.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I think Sony's found a way to keep an influx of money into something that's dying, because their movie division is dying. And at the same time, make them look better to a buyer, but at the same time, make money off of that while Disney gets what they want, which is more of their Marvel characters that they have access to. Now, yes, they don't fully have access to Morbius, but putting Vulture in that will help the MCU, because if and when they get those properties, they will already have something going on if it makes it that long, because we do have to think about the fact that the MCU is very lucky that it's been going for 10 years without very little problems. If they continue it, if it still works, and then they get Morbius and they get Madam Web and all this other stuff, and they can incorporate it and keep the storyline going, it'll be freaking amazing, because they've got a good thing going. And to add those properties to it will be excellent. And if they are going to treat Blade properly and all these other properties properly, if they do what they've been doing so far with the MCU, this could all be so great for them. And I think that's what they see in it. They're like, we can give them a little of this. We know we're getting this eventually. So if we start incorporating our stuff in there now, it'll already be established for later, and we don't have to work to establish it. So that's what I think's going to happen. Now, I don't know that for positive, but that's a lot of the things I've heard, and we'll see. Do you agree with Ray Fisher being fired?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dink. We will drop this because that is, I'll make sure we save this so I have the old questions for later. Save that, drop that, and we will spread this. Oh, wrong thing. Boop. 3 minutes on the board. Hanzo, this is your question. Let's hear what you have to say about it. 3 minutes, go.
Absolutely, man. This guy has just been talking out of his ass with absolutely no real proof whatsoever. You know what I mean? And you're not a big enough actor to be running around like that. I never even heard of you until Justice League. You know what I mean? Maybe he's done stuff, and I'll go back and watch a movie like, oh yeah, that's that dude Ray Fisher. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I guarantee you it'll be like a small little ass stupid role. So when you're in Hollywood like that, you got to know your role. And he basically will probably never work in Hollywood again. Let's be real. You know what I mean? If you're going around and you're talking bad about your company and you're not coming up with facts and proof and this and that, when you're just saying, well, this is what happened and this and that, and there was investigations that were going on, we don't hear anything about it. So obviously you're probably going to lose those investigations hands down anyways. So shut your mouth and do your job. You were going to be in the Flash movie, confirmed you were going to be in the Flash movie. Now you are not. So what type of role do you think you were going to get now? Maybe 10 years, if he's really that good of an actor, you know, all can be forgiven in like 5-10 years. But for now, he shouldn't even apply for roles. You know what I mean? He shouldn't even apply for roles. He has no proof. He has nothing. What did he say? Whedon is a dick?
Gadot. Yeah, I said Whedon's a dick, and then said Gal Gadot. Well, before that, he said Gal Gadot and Momoa backed him.
Did they really, though? I mean, Momoa kind of did, but at the end of the day, it's like you guys said, you know, is it backing him or backing up someone who they think is their friend? You know what I mean? So I at one point, I was sitting there and I was trying to find reasons and trying to be on Ray Fisher's side. But at the end of the day, you know, like I can't anymore because you're not telling us anything. Your cryptic Twitter posts and cryptic responses aren't really telling us anything. You know, if things happened the way you said they did and there was the racism and this and that shit would have been everywhere. And it's not. You know what I mean? It's just you saying something and that's it, you know? Yeah, he may have had an incident with Whedon, but how many actors haven't had incidents with their directors or this and that? You know what I mean? We don't know how bad the incident was. Maybe he took it out of proportion, which it seems like he's doing. But regardless of anything, his career is over. That's a fact. His career is done.
Yeah. Gaiskar, 3 minutes.
So going on this whole Ray Fisher thing, right? First of all, when I saw the question, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? I didn't know who he was. And then I'm like, oh, it's Cyborg. You know? So I looked at
Cyborg.
Yeah, exactly. Because apparently he was going to have his own movie as well, right? I just threw that out the freaking window. Listen, in any professional place, right, there has to be a certain respect. No matter, you know, in Hollywood, directors, they're paid, you know, they're the hot shit when they're on that chair and they want things done their way. And, you know, what goes on in the director's chair in many movie shoots from many actors, people have started complaining about how directors, you know, badmouth and belittle certain actors and so forth, right? So even though if you felt that way, like Hanzo said, if there's proof, if there's this, if there's that, back up what you're saying, but not with cryptic little small responses where you're just, you know, trying to get clickbait, right? I feel like it was all about him and him and him and nobody else. So definitely, should he be fired? Yes, because there's no room for any type of manipulation or belittling or anything. There should be no type of harassment in any work environment, no matter how much money you make, right? In a perfect world, right? I'm talking about. But definitely, he should be gone, and he just fucked up his career. I don't think, like Anzo said, I don't think he's going to get another job anytime soon, you know. And if he does, he's lucky. But he, like I said, I didn't know who this guy was when I saw that Ray Fisher. And when I saw his picture, I'm like, oh, he's a black guy. You know? So yeah, honestly, I don't have much more to add. But if he did what people say he's did and what his posts said, yeah, you should be gone. If you don't like what you're doing, the only person you can look at is the person in the mirror. You're the one that can change that. You know, if you're looking for other people to be able to change things for you, it doesn't work. You know, they can help you, but they can't change you.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to say something, because Shifty Gizm is saying maybe he had a non-disclosure agreement. That would not stop him from talking about abuse, bro.
Look at your president.
You know
several things. I'll start 3 minutes here. To the NDA, Warner Brothers sat them down in their office and said, "You got something to tell us? Let's get on this. Help us with this investigation." And he refused to, because if you buy what he was saying, oh well, he didn't think they were going to treat it fairly if he gave them the information he had. I'm sorry, then give it to somebody. But he didn't even talk. No tabloid came up with anything. Nobody has anything on this. And like we said, Danny and I said it to Anzo. I just think that that Momoa was looking at everything and looking at the flack he was getting, and at first he's like, "Dude, I want to help my friend." And I have no doubt that Joss Whedon had a tendency of being a dick, and maybe did say some stuff that wasn't that great. And maybe Momoa and Gal Gadot kind of felt the same way about him, but not so strongly as to accuse him of anything. And therefore, again, I think, Anzo, you just said it, where perhaps he overplayed what really did happen, or he took it completely wrong. Strike one, you go against Joss Whedon, who has
the power,
a good rapport in the industry. Does that mean that he's a good guy? No, but he has way too much clout on his side. Yes, the clout. Strike two, you were given a chance to give your side of the story to the executives of Warner Brothers, and you said no. Strike three, you continue to run your mouth. You continue to tweet. You continue to do everything to push your narrative without providing proof. Those things, you're out. And that's what happened. And he should have seen this coming from a mile away. Do I agree that this happens to people? No. But he probably is more deserving than some. For instance, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp right now is being blacklisted because a tabloid said something about him. And then that tabloid is purposely over in Great Britain because they know they can get away with this stuff a lot easier over there. And now that there's a decision that said, no, there wasn't, they didn't commit libel, he's getting blacklisted here. I hope to God when his case comes up and is finished here, that he is redeemed and that Hollywood brings him back. Because I love Johnny Depp. I don't think he's being treated fairly.
I agree.
But Johnny Depp's doing the right thing. He's only professing his innocence. He's giving as much information as he possibly can, but he's not lashing out at anybody. He graciously stepped down from his part in Fantastic Beast. He has graciously said, "I don't want to be a problem right now," because I think he knows that because he is. Obviously, he thinks he's on the right side. We will find out because the American trial will tell us more than the Great Britain trial. If he comes out on top, he knows that it'll be out there then, and that he can say, look, there's my proof. He's waiting. He's doing the right thing. He is not being animated out in public. There's a right way and a wrong way to do this stuff, and I think Depp is handling it in the best way he possibly can for probably being wronged. And then you got Fisher, who probably wasn't as wronged as he thinks he was, and he went out of his way to make it a big deal. And look what you get. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of difficult because he is a black man, and in today's climate, it sometimes, I'm sure at some point he's going to run that out and say that, well, it was only because this or that. But dude, you had your opportunity to show proof, and he hasn't shown anything. I mean,
all he's doing right now is just talking out of his ass. It's simple and plain. If you're gonna talk shit with no proof, you're talking out your ass, and you're killing your own career. And again, like we said, they never actually came out and said, "Oh yeah, there was some shit going on and this and that."
They backed him.
Right.
They wanted people to lay off of him. They were just backing a friend, somebody they enjoy being around. They never corroborated anything.
Exactly. And now Shifty's going to say he hasn't shown us anything. We don't matter. Then why are you tweeting it? If we don't matter, then why are you tweeting it? Why are you saying anything? You know what I mean? Like you're going to sit there and say, "Oh, well, he doesn't have to show us anything." You're right. He doesn't have to show us anything. But if you're sitting there and you're talking about shit like, "Well, this is what happened and this is what happened," you have no proof, then you got to show it.
Okay, Shifty, I'll say this. Warner Brothers brought him into the executive's office or to the board or somebody. I don't remember, but it was a high executive that did talk to him. And they said, "We want to figure out what went on." They were going to listen to him. And he said he was not going to talk to Warner Brothers. He wanted an independent investigation. Warner Brothers gave him an independent investigation. We've heard nothing since. And that is mostly because most of what I've heard is he refuses to talk to anybody or tell anybody anything. He doesn't have to tell us. No, he does not. You're absolutely right. But he's got to talk to the investigators. He's got to talk to the executives, because if there was this problem, then yes, it needs to be outed and it needs to be taken care of.
Absolutely.
But if it happened, then you should have something to.
Exactly.
If Harvey Weinstein has gone down, if Seven, the bad guy in Seven, Kevin Spacey, if he's gone down, well, whatever's going on with him, I don't know exactly, but if these people have been found out, it's because enough people have talked about it. Enough people have proof. It's very unlikely you're the only person this has ever happened to, if it actually happened. And nobody has come up and said that it happened yet. And I'm not trying to be mean to Ray Fisher. I'm just stating the absolute obvious.
That is
if
correct.
There's no smoke, there's no fire.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. And so at the end of the day, you're just talking out your ass. You know what I mean?
And again, I don't want to say that if it's not true, but play ball with people. You cannot tell everybody, "I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you." You got to start. You got to start talking to somebody.
If you're giving the platform to come out and say what you're complaining about, what the issue is, and you don't take it, then that speaks for itself. Then shut your mouth and deal with it. All right.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'll tell you what, Shifty, I don't know. I have no clue where those investigations are. If they do turn something up, if they're still going and they do turn something up, I almost guarantee you Warner Brothers will go back to them and says, "Dude, we are sorry, but you could have fixed this." And they may not rehire him, because even if they find out that he was right, they might look at him and say, "Hey, you could have fixed this long ago by telling us what the hell really happened."
That is correct. And he's not only going after Josh Whedon, he was going after what's the head name?
I
the Asian dude. I can't remember his name right now, but he's going after him. The Asian dude, the head of Warner Brothers, Humada. We talked about him yesterday.
Yeah.
I mentioned his name on the show.
I'm looking. Whedon and Jeff Johns.
Walter Hamada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was going after Walter Hamada too, as well. So
they said that he also says Jeff Johns and John Berg enabled such behavior.
Yes.
Berg denies everybody's denying the accusations, and I'm not saying that they're gonna admit to anything, but again, if this stuff went on, somebody knows something, and
but see, that's the thing I hate about situations like that, like was it Johnny Depp and his wife, right? The same thing. Everybody's pointing fingers. We don't know what the facts are. We're just speculating everything, and it's all hurt, right?
And that's the thing. And I mean, I understand what Shifty's saying. You know, hey, we don't know anything about. No, we don't. But have you heard when he got fired? Did Momoa, did Gal Gadot say anything?
Not that I know of.
Then where are they now? If they were standing by him and they had proof, wouldn't that be the point where they say, hey, we know this stuff is happening. Don't fire this guy. This is happening.
You know why? Because they like their careers too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. They're like,
unfortunately,
back, not say anything.
I mean, and again, if something did happen, I won't say that Hollywood hasn't blacklisted people before for the wrong thing, but I would say that instead of running and tweeting about every other thing, that you probably should have maybe hired your own investigation, maybe talked to the ACLU. This is starting to come around a lot like the Jesse Smollett stuff. Yeah. And what's bad is this stuff does happen to Black people, to African Americans. You know, it does happen. It absolutely does happen in the industry, but you're not helping it if it isn't true. You're becoming more of a problem for rooting out the real problems. I think Jesse Smollett, whatever that ends up being, it really hurts the cause.
The real things, like when something really happens, it hurts that. And I can't remember what it was, but maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, I was watching a movie and Jesse Smollett was in it. I didn't even know it was him. I was like, oh shit, until I seen his name. I believe it's Lovecraft Country, if I'm not mistaken. So
possible.
He's still got his career.
Yeah, he does. But I think he's realized he got caught and he's kind of just
playing the background.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, I mean, because there's still a chance that he's going to owe the city of Chicago money for doing the investigation and stuff. I mean, I don't know. It's just a sad situation, and if there's something going on, Ray Fisher needs to be telling somebody. He just has to accept he only has so many avenues he can go, and if he wants to turn everybody away and say, I'm not going to talk to you, I'm not going to talk to you, I'm not going to talk to you, well, who are you going to talk to?
That's correct.
Or he has talked to people, and those investigations haven't proven that what he says happened. So, all right.
Someone's going to get hurt real bad.
All right, guys. Well, a little over an hour, but we had an important thing to talk about before.
Oh, hell
yeah. I don't know if I'll be on later. If I can, I will. But if not, you guys will root out everything. I know you guys will. And like I said, I don't like to get political. You guys know that. But I think this is above politics. I think it's above that. This isn't about politics. This is about right and wrong. There's nothing wrong with peaceful protesting. If they'd shown up and just stayed where they were, or even gone up to the fences. No, these guys bowled over fences and they were rioting and they were incited by our own president. These are wrong, period. And I'd say it if it was Biden. I'd say if it was any other politician out there. It's not that it's Trump. I am not just going to call out Donald Trump. If you show me another person who's done the exact same thing that he did today, I will call them out on it too. So I think that's above politics. So that's why it just needs to be talked about. So
there needs to be accountability.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, again, I don't totally say that Donald Trump has not done good things for our government, but everybody needs to have accountability, and he has none. Never has, never will. He doesn't know the word lose. He doesn't know that I'm wrong. He doesn't know any of that. Humility is going to hit him in the back of the head, and it's going to hit him hard at some point in time. I don't know if it's going to be after this. I don't know if it's going to be by the federal government. I don't know if it's going to be by a court. I don't know who or what's going to do it. But something's going to do it.
Do you think he's not going to spend any jail time? He's not going to spend one day in prison.
Depends. Do you think he can come up with $4 billion of back taxes they're claiming? The IRS took down Al Capone. I'm just going to say that. Everything they know Al Capone did, and they never got him on it. But the IRS took Al Capone down.
That is correct.
He is messing with the wrong person. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be anything. What?
Wasn't that the Untouchables?
Yeah.
No, well, even the Untouchables couldn't get to him.
But that's a real life story. That's actually how it got Al Capone.
Yeah, but look, I can't. I'll send it to you in digital. I have it digitally, but there's the story about how the IRS got Al Capone, and it's absolutely fascinating. This guy who had thought of everything, he would show up. I mean, he showed up to the St. Valentine's Day massacre. They know he did, but they know he probably walked away before anything was fired. They know all this stuff. They were told by informants and stuff. They just could never pin it down on him, but they got him by the books. And it's the same thing. Numbers don't lie. There's a paper trail somewhere, and he plays a game that's not a fun one to play. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I listen. There's lots of people who think Hillary Clinton did something wrong. She's not in jail, so if she did do something wrong, well, then if she did something wrong and didn't go to jail, then maybe he doesn't have anything to worry about. But he certainly seems like somebody who's worried that something's going to happen if he isn't in that office.
Hillary stood by her man. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. Well, she stood by him as they would come and kneel before him. So anyways. All right, guys.
No relations for that woman.
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't inhale. Guys, thank you very much for being here today. All of you in the chat. We really appreciate you guys showing up and supporting us. Check out Twitter. It's at Central Chaos, I think, is our Twitter handle for Chaos Central. Check out all these guys. Their information's down in the description box below. We really appreciate all the support you guys are giving us. We've got 100 subs. We could use a couple more to keep us over in that buffer zone of YouTube. And I'm checking every day to make sure that as soon as I can get that vanity title, it'll be up, guys. So thank you very much for your support. And with that said, you know the way this works, guys. Peace.